Richard Johnson, thanks for joining us here at Lord's. We go up against Derbyshire tomorrow. What's the mood been like in the camp since our promotion push ended last week with defeat against Kent?
Obvious disappointment. We felt that we were on a good run, and the Kent game was a good game to obviously win. Stayed in the game the whole way through. We've got used to winning from those positions, and I think that's probably our disappointment, is that although it's low-scoring games, we've come out on the right side of low-scoring games and we found a way of winning. And right up until the last morning, I thought we had a real good, strong chance of winning that game. And see the disappointment in the guys afterwards showed that they all believed that we had a chance and we should have won that game too.
You talk about the disappointment in the dressing room, which is pretty clear for you to see. You work with the players day in, day out. You know their mentality, you know their mindset going into and coming out of every game. There's been a fair bit of criticism on social media that there's been a lack of aptitude, a lack of care from the players. Now, I know from where I'm standing that just isn't the case. As head coach, how do you see comments like that?
I don't read social media, so that's a good start. It's difficult because I think if teams don't do well, then it's quite easy to point fingers that they don't care. We've had a tough run of games playing against the top sides, and we've come out on top on most of those games. It was another tight game against a team just above us that are on a roll as well. So I think the thing, there's no way that I could stand here and say they don't care. They care enormously about what they do. They have personal pride in what they do. And I think they represent us as a county really well, and I have no issues with them in those terms at all.
Two such youngsters that have done just that are Martin Anderson and Ethan Bamber. I guess injury and absence of more senior players have opened up certain opportunities for these two youngsters to make their mark in the first 11. As head coach, you must be enormously proud of how well they've adjusted to life in the front side.
Very much so. As I said, I think in previous interviews, I've seen these guys come through. I trust them. I know they're good players, and now it's about transferring that into first-class cricket. And quite often, the next level up is always a mental thing rather than a technical or skill thing. And they've both adapted mentally really well. And and I think there's more to come from them. To make your debut at Lord's is difficult. The slope does make a difference to you as a bowler. It's hard to adjust, and again, as I said about Ethan a couple of weeks ago, the same with Martin. He bowled well, but I know there's also more to come. He can bowl better than that, and trying to adapt to Lords and the slope and the step up in mentality is a big thing, but I think he coped very well.
Excellent. Well, as I said, Richard, opportunities come for youngsters as a result of absences for others. Now, one person that's been in and out all year is Stephen Finn. Now, it was released last week by the club that Finney will now go into a lengthy period of rehab to sort his knee out once and for all. You must be very proud of his efforts and his commitment all year. I mean, I know he's played pretty much all year. He's suffered enormously with that injury, but yet he's been there to call upon.
Yeah, we've been aware, obviously, that he struggled all year physically. We've asked him to make an effort to be as fit and as ready and as raring to go as he possibly can. There are times where he's played and he's felt really good, but then that's couples with the next game with it being sore or tender and not being able to bowl as well as he knows he can and as well as he wants to. So it's shown a great character to be ready for us and be there to play for us, even though he's not anywhere near 100% fit. So our wishes go to him to go and get a good recovery and be back fighting for us next season at the start of the year.
Excellent to hear. Well, I know you've named a strong squad going into this Derbyshire clash, Johnny. How important is it that we finish strong? I mean, obviously promotion is beyond us now. We've got 2 games to right a few wrongs. How important is it we go into the winter break with a bit of momentum and some pride intact?
I think everyone in our squad realises that the season obviously hasn't gone as we would have wanted it at the start of the year. The goal is to get promoted, is to bring some good young players through. We've done that part, but we obviously didn't get promoted. And I think from an individual point of view, you hear the players talking about a lack of performance through a year individually, and every individual has still got something to play for. And I think Robbo stood up and spoke the other day to say, finishing off with 100 or finishing off with the 5 wickets over the next couple of games, gives you something to hold on to over the winter and start afresh next season. So that's the way we'll approach it. We'll approach it with the same intensity and the same mentality as we've approached the last few games, and we'll be fighting hard every session. That's the plan. and I don't see why that shouldn't be what we do.
Well, good to hear. Two players that have excelled this year, James Harris and Tim Murtagh. Both have shone with the ball yet again. Mert's consistently doing what he does. Jimmy Harris looking back to his very best. You've got them both to call upon this week. Does that pose a selection headache or two? Obviously Martin and Ethan did exceptionally well here at Lord's last week. You've now got Mertz and Harry knocking the door down.
Absolutely, it's a good position to be, and you think that we've got that strength and we're still missing Toby Rowland-Jones, Stephen Finn and Tom Helm. So it's a great position to be in. Football coaches always say it's a good problem to have, and it's something obviously we'll work out in the morning once we see what the conditions are like, and pick what we think for the strongest 11 will be for this game, and it will be for this game. That's it.
Excellent. We're looking ahead to this week's opponents, Derbyshire. They gave us a bit of a turning over up at the 3A's county ground. We've got Lacey in their squad now, who's gone up there on loan. They come here tomorrow. I think they've just edged ahead of us in the table. They're 3 points ahead now. They've got an attack to rival anyone's in the division. What do you make of this week's opponents? They're a good side. Yeah,
they're a strong bowling attack. That's kept them going all season. They've got some decent batters. Billy coming back to HQ will definitely he'll have the bit between his teeth, wanting to perform, obviously. So yeah, we know they're a good side, and we don't underestimate them. Their bowling attack, it rivals, as you say, anyone in the division. So we'll have to be somewhere near our best to be competing with them. And as I said earlier, that's what we're planning to be.
Okay, John, I will all the very best of luck this week, and hopefully we can head off to Durham with a win under our belts.
Cheers.